Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to BlackUSA.News. My name's Donnie Glover, your publisher. Today we have with us Austin City Councilman Oballa, and he is one heck of a story. Councilman, how are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It is a great honor.
Well, we're very proud of your accomplishments. How old are you, Councilman?
I am 28.
You make me feel old, but nonetheless, you got to tell us, for those who don't understand what it means to be a refugee. I think the closest thing in this country we have seen in modern times may be Hurricane Katrina,
Yes.
where the people had to flee New Orleans.
Yes.
How was it for you?
Being a refugee?
Yes.
Well, being a refugee is something that I will say everyone should go through. It is a very tough life, because being a refugee is you are someone who run away from your country and you are looking for a place for refuge, which is a place safe. But in every refugee, they're located in outside of one of the country. Let's say in my refugee where I was in Kenya, we are located something like 12 hours away from the capital city of Nairobi. That is the closest refugee. But the other refugee is located like 3 days away. So we are in the desert, a place where there's no, it's very hot, it's 110 degrees sometimes. So, and then you live there waiting for some help from the UNHCR or some other nonprofit organization. So life as a refugee, you only live with hope. When will something good happen? And that's how the refugee life is.
And so what did happen? What happened good for you?
The one thing that happened good for me when I flee my country, and then when I knew that we will not go back again, because when I flee Gambela, Ethiopia, our house was burned down, everything was taken away. More than 424 people, including some of my relatives and my uncle, were killed in front of us, and they're being slaughtered in front of us while we see them, while we are watching them. And then we saw that we cannot go back, because the genocide happened while targeting most of the male, which is by then my age, or someone who is, if you are 15 and above. So for me, it was like, it's better to stay here in a refugee, whereby you don't think of someone coming to kill you, but the only thing you worry about is starvation or hunger, die of hunger. So that was the main thing. But the biggest thing what refugee did for me was, I had a hope that one day I may go to America, whereby I can get a better life, or I can go to any other good country that I can get education and I can get a better life.
That's amazing. Do you have family?
Yes, I do have a family. We moved to America with my mom and my 2 siblings.
Wow. And so I'm curious, how are you so damn optimistic?
I think is the struggle that I went through, because I grew up as someone who have a lot of dream that as a young age, but because of situation that I was in my own country, I grew up as a farmer. My dad was a farmer, and there's no any education, so we only know the other side of the world. But after the genocide, I knew, well, if I'm educated, I can do more. My eye will open, so I will do a lot of good thing if I have education. So through a lot of struggle and studying and doing a lot of research, I feel like I have a lot of potential. So that's why I see other great men outside there.
So I'm curious, is English your native tongue?
No, I actually 7 years ago, I couldn't speak English. When I moved to America, I didn't have any high school diploma. I moved to America December 2000, no, December 3rd, 2013. So when I moved to America, I barely know like where to go, hi, that. So, and English wasn't my first language. I speak other four different languages like Swahili, Anuak,
Badagani.
Missouri Sana. So, and then a little bit of Somali. So, but I lost Amharic because I used to know, but I lost Amharic. So it's supposed to be five. So English included, totally, I speak five language.
No Amadi?
I lost the language because when I was in the refugee camp, I kind of trying to focus on Swahili because that is the official language in Kenya. So yeah.
Wow. So I gotta ask, when you see how we are in America, do we value education?
I see. I think for coming standpoint, what I learned about America, a lot of people value education, but as for someone who like someone like me who haven't like education wasn't there for them, I see it how important education is. And because when I look America here, a lot of people will say, "Oh, education is tough." But when I can flash back my mind when I was in refugee camp, education was more tough because you get beaten in the school. Your teacher will force you to do homework that you don't know, so you gotta study everything. There's nothing called calculator. So, but a lot of America value education, but I think most of them they don't prioritize how important education is.
So you make it to no, you went to South Dakota first. Now
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, Councilman, I'm on the East Coast. South Dakota's not on my radar.
I know, right?
How'd you end up? Were there any other black people in South Dakota?
Well, when I went there, believe me, we in Sioux Falls, which is one of the city close to Minnesota, we have a few black people. We have other refugee too from other countries, and we have some few African American. But when I went deeper in South Dakota, which is next to Mountain Rushmore, it's called the Black Hill. There's not a lot of black people there. You can see them like one today, one tomorrow, and most of them will just maybe come from Colorado and just go visit there. So I didn't see so many black people in South Dakota.
And what did you do there? That's where you started school?
Yeah. So when I moved to America, I first settled in Maryland, and my caseworker told me that you cannot go to school. You have to find a job right now because you are. I told her I cannot find a job right now because oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I settled in Maryland, my social worker told me, "Well, you arrive in America. This is your third day, so the only thing you can do now, you just turn 20, look for a job so that you can start working for your future." So I told her,
Was that correct?
no, that was not correct. So I told her, no, I cannot get a job because I learned in America through my orientation, you have to have a resume to get a good job. I don't have any resume. I don't have any skills. I barely speak English. I don't even know what kind of job I'm looking for. So you're setting me up in a bad foundation. So if I get a job now, I will get fired within my second day because I don't know anything. So she's like, well, you cannot go to any school because you don't have high school. I'm like, can I get a high school diploma or a GED? She told me you cannot get a GED right now. You have to work and pay for it. So I told her I don't think that is true. But the good thing, after a few days, I met one of my friend in the bus. We were just riding home, and then I saw him carrying a big bag, and then he was 20, my age, and then I saw him. Oh, this guy is African, so let me ask him what he's up to, because you don't see someone carrying like a big load of bag, school bag. I asked him, I'm like, hey, seem like you come out from school. He's like, oh, you still go to school?
Come on, Oballa. Well, we were talking with Councilman Oballa. Oballa, looks like we have some challenges. We're going to have to try this again. I'm going to wait a moment, though. And thank you all for joining us. Do check out our morning show. Maybe he'll chime back in. Anyway, what a fascinating story. I mean, I don't know that we appreciate what we have in this country in terms of education. We have the opportunity to go to school for free in many instances, absolutely for free. There he goes.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, as I said, so I asked this friend of mine, and he told me I'm in a program called Job Corps, and that program will help you get your high school diploma, get your GED if you prefer. And I'm like, wow. So I asked him, how do I sign up? And he gave me all the detail. So 2 days in the bus.
What a fascinating story. I hope you are touched out there as much as I am. This guy's one determined person. We'll probably have to reschedule this for a later time. But he has such enthusiasm. You hate to cut it, You hate to cut the rope. But we want to do this right, too. Stay tuned. At 4 o'clock, we'll be talking with Devon Walker on this very same channel. Devon Walker created the Black Wall Street game. So we're going to give this one more try and see how it goes. We may have to just scrap it. All right, we're going to try one more time. Okay, Councilman.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong. There's a big snow today. I hope my internet will not.
Well, you know what? No worries, because we can always do this again.
Absolutely. Well, let's. I hope it will not go away again.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Okay. Yeah. After that, I signed up for Job Corps, and then one of my uncle who been in America already knew about Job Corps, and he told me, "Well, we have Job Corps here in South Dakota. You want to move down here?" I'm like, anything. If I don't care what part of the United States. So I moved from Maryland right away. I tell my social worker, we are done. I'm not gonna get any job. I need to get a high school diploma and go to college, because I will do a lot if I go to college. So I moved from there. I end up in South Dakota. I get my high school done within 9 months. I did all my 24 credit within 9 months. Wow. Get my trained medical assistant. I get my certified nursing assistant, and I graduated within 9 months, and I moved to Austin, Minnesota.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Such a story. Do you have a book yet?
I haven't read any book yet.
Okay, now what you left out is you were doing some activism at the same time.
Yes.
You were trying to help with food supply?
Yes. So when I started my college here, and because when I was at the Job Corps there, I involved in the Student Government Association. They elect me to be the president on campus, and I didn't know how that important was. But when I moved to college, that gave me a big resume, and students saw me on campus because all the time everyone will see me on campus. I want to help someone. And when I start my college,
Why? Why?
because I feel like I couldn't be where I am if not because of so many people who helped me, especially the United States government when I was in the refugee. And when I moved to America here, we got a lot of people, churches, somewhere, I will meet someone in supermarket or someone at the road. They will help me find where I go when I was young. But when I went to college, because I found that a lot of students struggle with their some courses, so I will just be everywhere, and then teachers will be, do you mind be a tutor on campus here? I'm like, what do tutors do? They're like, you get paid and you help other students. I'm like, okay, sign me up for it. So I start tutoring on campus, science, math, and other subjects. So, and then I kind of become getting popular, and I saw some issues, which is food insecurity on campus. And from there, I start working on that. And after that, I get involved in the community.
Now, what is food insecurity? I mean, obviously it's not having food, but where did the term come from?
Food insecurity is when you live in a situation where you don't know where your next meal is coming from. So someone who is food insecure, they can eat what they have now, but tomorrow they may not have something in the fridge.
And that is prevalent in South Dakota?
That was happening in Minnesota. Actually, I started here in Minnesota.
What did you think when you saw that in America?
I think that was I would say it, I didn't think of that because in refugee, I grew up being food insecure. I grew up, food insecurity wasn't a problem for me because I lived through it. In a refugee camp, you can only eat 2 days or sometime one time a day, or sometime you can go 2 days even without eating, without even a drink of water. But when I come to America, America is one of the greatest country. America is one of the richest, but I still see students struggle with getting their meals, And when I saw that on campus, I'm like, this is an issue. A lot of students are missing their classes due to food insecurity. I need to do something about it. And after that, I start labbing on campus. I start going to the community, talking about it, because there's a stigma around food insecurity that, you don't want to tell someone you are hungry on campus. So, and with me, I wasn't shy, or I wasn't afraid to talk about it because I went through it and I didn't want my student go through that. So you were mute.
I'm sorry. You're talking about students who are on the verge of hunger?
Yes.
College students in America?
Yes.
You had to think to yourself, that's ironic. I mean, it's supposed to be the greatest, one of the greatest places on earth, but we have hunger.
Yeah, because we have a lot of students from everywhere, from coast to east, from Midwest to everywhere. Students are struggling with food insecurity because the biggest thing is that tuition is so high in America, and for textbook cost is so high. So for most of the students, what they will think first is, I better pay for my tuition than buying something to eat, or I better pay for my apartment. So this is what caused food insecurity to become like a big epidemic in America.
So fast forward, now you're the councilman.
Yes, now I'm the councilman.
The youngest Black councilman in the history of Austin, Minnesota. Yes. Honestly, Councilman, I had never heard of Austin, Minnesota, but I have heard of a very large Ethiopian population, Somali population in Minnesota.
Yes.
Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, well, Austin, Minnesota is 1 hour and 30 minutes from Minneapolis, where we have a lot of population of refugee. So Austin, Minnesota, I've not been super involved for the last since it is established. So for Austin, Minnesota to have refugee, it just started, like I would say, 25 years ago. Mainly 20 years ago, when they start having people of colors moving to Austin, Minnesota to get some job at Ormill and QPP area here. But for a refugee to start coming here is just recently started, like I would say 15 years ago or something. So throughout, when I moved here, we have, I think, according to the research that they've done here, the Black population is 0.5 in Austin, Minnesota. So we don't have a lot of, but right now it's kind of getting more. We have more refugee coming in from other countries. So we have other coming from other part of West Africa with a student visa because of Prevalent Community College. So the Somali population is they've been in Minneapolis for more than 30 or 20 or 30 something years. So for us here in Austin, we are still new. And we are in what I call it more like all the rural area, because Minneapolis is the biggest city. So Austin is all away in rural area, whereby with more farming and all those stuff. Yeah.
Okay, now tell me about, do you know Minnesota State Representative Esther Agbehi?
Yes, I just learned about that representative recently.
And she's Nigerian.
Yes, she just get elected recently. Yes.
So that's another first in Minnesota, right?
Yeah. So we have yeah, for elected from Nigeria, that, but we have other representative from Minnesota, like Ilan Omar, which is she's in the Congress right now. She's the first Muslim first refugee to be elected in the office. She come from the same refugee camp that I came from.
Have you met her?
Yes, I met Ilan Omar. So I visited her in Washington D.C. So when I was a student, I used to lobby at the state capitol there a few years ago. My last visit was in 2020.
What did you think when you saw people storming the U.S. Capitol, Councilman?
Well, I think that was that was the I don't know. I couldn't wrap my mind through, because
a lot of us can't.
Yeah, because U.S. Capitol, that is the most secure building, one of the most respected building in the entire world, and seeing it being stormed in 15 minutes, I feel like that is not America. I feel like we are in somewhere, some other third country that, because in some countries in Africa, you can just see that will happen. If you can go to Middle East, that's like obvious. But for the first time in my generation to see that, no, I was like, that is not America.
Well, a lot of times I throw hardball questions, but I'm going to be polite to you, but I still got to ask you a tough question.
Yes.
What advice might you have for Black Americans?
Well, my advice for Black American, especially those who, because those who were, ancestors were, from Africa, all of them were, the only place they know is here in America. My only advice to them is that we are in a generation right now where no one can stop us from achieving our dream. There's a struggle that we went through, but at this generation in 21st century, we should not make any excuse to let ourselves down. We have to fight. We have to work hard for our better ourselves. So because and this is something I went through when I was in Job Corps. I met one of my friends. He asked me, "Why do you have to come to America? Why do you have to run to America? You don't see the history that Black people went through, and then you come to tell me here there's a dream, that you have a dream in America." My response to him was that the dream of Martin Luther King is not dead, it's still alive. So when I said I have a dream that one day, I can do something, and in America, that's the proof, because that dream is not I gonna ask someone to help me to do that dream, but I will work hard for myself. And because when he told me that he felt like I can do more when I'm in Africa, it's like you should be in Africa and achieve those dreams. I'm like, well, Africa is a continent. In my country, this dream that I'm talking about, I will not even achieve it for so many reasons. And when I'm here in America, I have the education that I need, and I can achieve it. He didn't believe me. He's like, man, you're just BSing. So, and I told him I'm not BSing, but together I can change your mind one day that my dream will come true.
Does he know
So,
that you are a city councilman now?
yes. So when I when I get elected, no, before I get elected, when I get elected as a student president to represent every community in Minnesota a few years ago as the president.
That's lead MN, right?
Yeah, lead them in. Yeah, he texts me, is like, man, you will not even give up. How did you even made it to that place? I'm like, well, it's hard work. We have our ancestors work for us to be where we are. We have our great grandfather work for us to be where we are today. So it's time we have to work hard. And so, and I've been connected with him. So, and he's trying to be civically engaged on where he is.
So you led by example.
Yes.
We call them haters.
I know, but I don't want to use that word.
Never let someone who hasn't done it tell you what can or can't be done.
Yes, absolutely.
If you think you can do it, you should try it. You owe it to yourself. I am so appreciative of your thinking for yourself, because you have been in life-threatening situations, but you seem very positive, and you just seem very focused on using the resources available without any excuses. I haven't heard you make one excuse, and you have a lot of things that you could look at as excuses.
Yes.
So what's next?
Well, the next thing I think is to focus more in Austin here. I want to focus more and make this city welcoming. I want to change the image of Austin, because before I moved to Austin here, a lot of refugee, a lot of Black kid, the image they're being portrayed as, they're changing the community in a bad way. They're being in trouble with police. I want to be a mentor to those kids. I want to tell. I've been telling everyone in Austin, Minnesota, when you see a Black kid, don't judge them just because of the way they walk or by the clothes they wear. So we have to, learn about them, know about their situation. So I've been going out from the community, since I moved here, and be a mentor, talk to those kids, if fighting drugs, helping them to get treatment, helping them go back to school and do those, connecting them with every other race here to work together to make this city a better place. So this is the thing that I want to do. Focus in Austin, make Austin a welcoming community, make young folks, those who think politics belong to older generation only. I've been telling them, no, to be civically engaged, you don't have to be 30, you don't have to be 40. You have to start at 16 or 15. Learn about your background, learn about who is your next door. And this is how we're changing the community of Austin.
I see you running for Congress.
If I don't have that big dream right now, but more is here for now.
Good stuff. What can people do to help you? How can people get in touch with you?
I use Facebook a lot. I use my social media. I use my Facebook. I have my page.
Have you met Obama?
I have not met Obama, but I visited the White House last time. The first Ethiopian from Gambela to visit the White House. I visited the White House in 2020.
He's going to find you. Your names are almost alike.
Yeah, that was
He's gonna
yeah,
find you, and you both are first. You're the first black councilman. He's the first black president. You're gonna
yeah.
find each other. I promise you.
I will try. Well, I spoke at Obama Foundation in 2020 as for to represent my leader men, and they when they heard about my story, how I represent myself, they award my organization with a lot of money, close to 200,000. So yeah, so and they're very proud. I get a standing ovation from all of them. So a lot of big donors. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to meet him one day. So
Good deal, Councilman. Any final thoughts?
well, the final thought, this is goes to every young generation out there. You don't have to be, have a background of politics. You don't have to be a politician to help someone in the community. Is that wherever you are, you can help. Always think positive, no matter the situation. If a kid from refugee who have seen a lot of debt, who have seen a lot of, can dream big and become city council in America within 7 years, who came here with no high school diploma, nothing, and now he's the youngest person to sit on a city council, can do this in a short time of period. What about you who were born here, or what about you who have all these resources? Because I know a lot of kids who are born in America with so many resources, but they don't know how to utilize those resources. They just need connection. So my biggest message: doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter you're a refugee, where you come from. If you become civically engaged, if you become open your mind and try to be a big for yourself, you can do anything in America.
Good deal, Councilman Oballa. By the way, we have a lady watching from Hungary. Her name is Andy. You might want to say hello to Andy.
Hello, Andy. How are you? And thank you for joining us today.
She's a big supporter of this show. So thank you again, Councilman, and we can't wait to bring you back on the show.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Good deal. Thank you all for watching BlackUSA.News. My name's Donnie Glover. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.